What kinds of problems do you deal with in hold on, I had like study. What kinds of problems do you deal with in this job?
In my job, I mean,
Yeah, at your job.
so the types of problems that I deal with are um, there's like the actual projects that we have to do, right? Which are questions like, hey, we're a big food company who wants to figure out how to solve malnutrition in India. How do we do that? Or we're a company that makes healthcare products, and we want to figure out how to help people who are at the end of their life like die with dignity, right? As opposed to like dying hooked up to a bunch of tubes in a hospital. Like these problems are like really hard societal problem. Like they face all of us in society, and they're really hard problems. So those are things that I have to face that are like trying to figure out how to solve something that is a really tricky question. But then there's also like the day-to-day problems of like, you know, when you work in a consulting firm, you work for clients, right? So like a company will hire you to do something. And so you have to actually like spend a lot of time trying to understand like what they want, how they are thinking about things, and how you actually convince them of different things and all those kinds of things, which are sometimes sort of little sometimes they can be really frustrating.
What steps can someone take in middle school or high school to prepare them for a career in this field?
Uh, so in middle school and high school, I'd say the biggest thing is probably if you have uh, so the three main skills that we look for when we're hiring people at Jump. One is being able to like study people, right? So like being able to like understand people, like interview people really well and learn about them and learn about their lives. So like check mark on that one. You're doing a good job right now. The other thing is we look for design, which means are you able to like envision, like think about new solutions, new things that should exist in the world, right? So there are all kinds of like um, things that I don't know that there are specific classes in I don't know what the specific classes are in middle school, but like design classes where you're trying to like think about new solutions to problems, or you're in some, I imagine some of even art and things like that would be some of the things that might fit with this kind of stuff. And then the third one is business strategy. So it's like all this stuff around like how do you create a business, and so that's sort of like your math or your economics or some of those kinds of classes and things like that. So I'd say like anything that falls in the world of like understanding people, being able to like come up with new solutions, and sort of being able to think about sort of how they'd actually like the math of whether that could work as a business would all be good things to think about if you're interested.
Was this the career you wanted to pursue, or did you have something else in mind?
Oh no, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was in like middle school, high school, college. Like I don't feel like until I was like 30 years old did I really have any clarity as to like what the heck I wanted to do in the world. I mean, I knew basically what I would do is I would follow the stuff that was interesting to me, right? And so when I was early on, my dad was a lawyer, so I thought like, well, maybe that was interesting. And so I went to go work at I did an internship with like the district attorney in Pittsburgh where I grew up, right? And what I did there was I like got to read all the criminal cases and like take notes on them before I gave them to the lawyer. So I like learned about all the like terrible crimes and things like that happened in Pittsburgh, and was like taking notes about all of them and giving them to lawyers. And then I was like, like I don't really love doing this that much. And then another year I went to go be a English teacher in Peru because I like love teaching, and so I went to like try that out, and I really liked it a lot. But I felt like I wanted to do something. But I felt like it was really fun to teach, and I still wanted to like do something that was at a bigger scale. And so then I like tried to be a like consultant, and I was like I did a more like business. I took more like business classes and was more of like a traditional consultant. and that was really fun, but it was a little too formulaic, I thought, in terms of the way that I was doing things. So, and then like all those things, pieces of all those things, I feel like I do now in my job. But I didn't really ever. It wasn't like, oh, this is exactly what, like, I want to be a blank, whatever it is. I had no idea what I wanted to do.
What is your dream job and would you trade it for your current job?
Huh. Um, I think it's similar. Like right now, I love what I'm doing. Like, and I've been doing it for like 10, 11 years. So I've loved it for a long time. That doesn't mean that it's like the last thing I'll ever do in my life and I'm going to do this for the next 40 years, because I have no idea really. Like, I love it now, and if I start to stop liking it, then I'll do something else.
Cool. Thanks, Ryan, and thanks, Jeremy. Jeremy, now's the time that we have like open questions. If you have any other questions that you wanted to ask of Ryan, maybe something came up or something was like you still had more questions about that you're curious about, you can ask them right now.
No, I think those were. I,
So, cool. Ryan, maybe do you have questions for Jeremy or?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, tell me, Jeremy, like, tell me, what's something that you're taking away from this conversation?
I'm thinking. Wait, what happened? I'm sorry.
Like,
The questions
what's something that, like, from this conversation, what's something that you feel like you've like learned?
I've learned about. Actually, I never knew that this was a job that ever existed. So
Totally.
now I'm thinking about it. That job.
Cool.
Maybe I want to become what you are.
Does it sound interesting so far?
Yeah.
Well, if you have other questions about it, you can ask me when we're not being recorded too.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan, do you have any other questions for Jeremy or?
No, I mean, I'm very curious about lots of other stuff that Jeremy's doing, but I feel like I shouldn't ask him when we're being recorded.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody. That's all the time that we have for questions. We really appreciate your responses, Ryan, and really appreciate your curiosity and initiative on this, Jeremy. And so wanting to wish everybody, you and your loved ones, good health during this time. And I'll stop the recording now. Maybe if you can stay on, but we'll just stop the recording right here.
Cool.
Cool. Thanks.